return. She's limping on her own power, but does look to be in a bit of pain. Trainer's having a close look at her. Langley leading the team in scoring last year, having a good day yesterday. Have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, they bring in the grad student Bell to try and fill that void. But with the high scoring margins that Langley brought, it's going to be hard to replace that kind of offensive prowess.
Colin, you have to forgive me. Yesterday, Lander was wearing white and Young Harris wearing black, so the colors have switched up a little bit. It might take a bit for me to get used to that.
I'm really enjoying the Lander jerseys today, though. The nice off blacks with the gold lining. It's a good coloration for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bell. Lead towards Kelly up top now. Carter. Driving in, Bell. Bell the kick out from distance. This one going to rim out. Back on the offensive rebound. Another chance for some points here.
Santoro was 2 for 4 from the three-point line yesterday, so maybe that could be where she's effective.
Bell driving. The kick out once more. Carter. Carter looking deep inside. The put up. And now it's a 4-point lead for Lander. Cameron Bates, sophomore, transfer from Texas Southern. Looking to get things early after the quick fake, looking for mid-range, sinks her one.
That was a high arcing shot. Good job by Cameron Bates to put Young Harris on the board.
Kelly, the Benedict College transfer, grad transfer, misses her first attempt. And brings back Bates and the Mountain Lions. The battle of the big cats today.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 formidable animals. See how that plays out on court, but
and the attempted lob inside, not as formidable as those those big cats may be.
We saw Lander yesterday forcing Emmanuel into a lot of difficult shots. Their defense acted really well as a team to stifle Emmanuel's offense, so see if they can keep that intensity up today.
From deep, this one off the back iron. Big rebound from Corley. I really think that's where Young Harris is going to have to dominate it. It's going to have to be the paint because the rebounds especially because Lander's a good shooting team. And they've racked up a few misses so far. Don't give them those second chance points.
You have to take advantage of the mistakes of the other team.
Corley faking, now drive. The dish up, won't come down. Wasting no time at all. Here's Bell behind the back, looking towards the interior. Still on the ground she goes. We're going to look at a possible jump ball here.
So this will stay for Lander as you see a couple subs check in. We saw that a good bit yesterday. They keep up a high-intensity defense, applying full-court pressure, so it's good to have a good bit of subs, a good bit of depth to keep your players fresh.
Plenty of new faces as well on this Bearcat team. They bring in Tania Gordon, Daytona State College, getting her first bucket. A pure athlete, Gordon is. One of the taller on the court as well, and her reach is phenomenal.
See Langley over there on the sideline jogging a little bit, looking like she's feeling a bit better. That's good to see.
Yeah, seeing her walk on her own power is a big piece of hope there for Lander. Granted, they're playing quite well, a 4-point lead so far without her on the court. Bates shuffling. 3 seconds to go on the shot clock. This one dished from way downtown. Back to Bates up top. They look for Edwards. Gardner. Ball movement brings us to 10 on the shot clock. Cutting inside was Edwards. Edwards trying to beat back on the putback and gets another 2.
So a hard-fought point for Young Harris, but good job staying with it, bringing it within 2.
Johnson Kelly. Counting down about that 5.5-minute mark here in the first quarter. Santoro. Now on to Gordon. Gordon, another pull-up. Finds the crutch on the iron. Frederick a deep dish. Yeah. Holy moly.
That was huge. That would have been good from NBA length, I believe. And Frederick had a big day yesterday. Off to a good start right there.
Yeah, and Young Harris taking the lead now. and looking as they have in the past few matchups against Lander. A big steal and a fast breakdown as the Mountain Lions put an and one on the board. And she'll be shooting one.
So it's a huge start for the Young Harris offense. Lander held Emmanuel to just 10 points in the first quarter yesterday. They got opportunity to get there now.
And immediate timeout brings us to a 1-point lead for the Mountain Lions. 7-6 here on the AU Sports Network. We'll be back. And 7-6 here remains the score. Ian, we believe there was a bit of controversy with that last attempted bucket, last what we thought was a made bucket.
Yeah, it looked like they would have gotten a, as you said, a made basket and an and one attempt, but instead nothing doing for Young Harris. So Lander now with the chance to reclaim the lead.
Here's Bell, wasting no time right out the timeout.
Good to see Langley back in as well playing. That ankle seems to be all right.
They don't know if it was an ankle or a hamstring issue. Now a toss out, another turnover. Coming away with Young Harris. Young Harris with a head full of steam. Coming from outside the arc. Now shooting baseline. Trying to find an open outlet. They look up top. Nesbitt. Well, that time Frederick, who we mentioned before, had a wonderful day yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really impressive performance. I believe the colors confused you there, Colin.
And yeah, the colors definitely confused me. Melendez now answering back with another three. Both these teams exchanging punches.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Lander held Emmanuel to just 10 points in the first quarter yesterday, and now Young Harris already at that mark.
From out wide, Gardner looking towards the interior, towards Corley. Corley can't come down with it. A near miss. Bell outside. Now the hook shot. Coming away of Bates once more. So far, pretty fast start for her. Had a good opening few minutes and looking to close out the quarter with another few points.
Yeah, 4 points and a rebound already. Second on her team behind Frederick.
The step back from Carter. Carter coming up short. Bates once more. As we approach the 3-minute mark, she is denied fully. Finds herself on the ground and nonetheless drawing the foul.
Yeah, good job by Aaliyah Bell, standing at 5'2", but getting up there, causing some disruption. But yes, the foul will be called. So that will send Bates to the line.
We check in Johnson Kelly as well as Gordon.
Saw Young Harris as well as AU both struggle from the free throw line yesterday, and there's 2 misses right there.
Yeah, those points are really just crucial for a team that just has difficulty scoring in general right now. I mean, Young Harris currently, just from field goal range, shooting only 40%. And a huge 3. Bring us to a tie ball game here, Ian. 12-12 now.
Good job by Johnson Kelly. Already picked up a few rebounds. That's her first points of the game. So yeah, nice tie ball game. Both games yesterday kind of started off one-sided and evened up as we went along. This one's staying even keel.
Deep one from Frederick. Spartanburg Methodist College transfer. Back from my hometown as well. We've seen plenty of good basketball players come out of SMC. Here's Gordon. Gordon shuffling towards the midline. The kick out, Melendez. Off the jump. Johnson Kelly once again. The grad student lighting up the net.
Yeah, she's been coming alive here in the past couple minutes as the first period comes to a close. Young Harris with the 1-point lead, looking to hold on to it.
Here's Frederick. The look inside. Corley. Travel called on the senior. And some more substitutions being made as we approach the end of the first. Already a very quick pace game. Relatively low scoring, but so far a solid defensive effort from both sides.
Yeah, definitely. And as we said, it's been pretty evenly matched. Both offenses shooting decently. Both defenses holding pretty strong. So, I mean, looking for a good game of basketball the rest of the way.
Here's Gordon. Gordon. Dynamic. Yet a travel going to be called. Where's she going? Now Bates looking to seal this one off. They lead by 1. Bates, who's really just been a depositor today of the ball. Give your team open looks. Looking outside, there's Griffith. A go-ahead lay, less than a minute to play. Now Lander looking to respond with a possible 3, looking to maybe go into this one tied. Looks to be a blocking foul. Going way of Young Harris.
Yeah, Bates tried to get the charge call on that one, unable to come up with it. 46 seconds remain. So we'll see Lander see if they can attempt to tie this one up.
Yeah, both teams coming in here with a 1-2 record. They're right now just fighting for pride. Lander. Langley. The kick out. Gordon towards the interior this time. Burgos.
Looks like that was 3 seconds in the paint. Not sure who it was, but nonetheless, that will give possession to Young Harris.
I believe that was calling the freshman Alicia Burgos. Can't camp out in the paint as much as we'd want to.
Definitely Burgos' home territory, standing at 6'2". Just a bit too much there.
Now Bates in the Mountain Lions with a 3-point lead. Less than 30 to play. About a 4-second differential between shot clock, game clock. The feed towards the middle. Big put up by Oba from Collin College. Now Gordon, we're going to get a last second point here with 5 seconds remaining. No shot clock. The deep 3. And that brings us within 2 here, 19-17, as we end the first here in Abney. As you saw from that commercial, definitely an exciting year for Anderson Athletics, as especially men's basketball, women's basketball. Head coach JB coming off a phenomenal season last year. We're going to be able to see the Anderson Trojans, who are undefeated right now, go head-to-head with Emmanuel University, now not Emmanuel College, here at 2 p.m. on day 2 of the AU Classic. But to start us off is two teams fighting for survival here in Young Harris and Lander. And already starting things off with a 3 off the board, no chance.
So Lander with a good opportunity. Now really impressed with both teams, keeping even pace with each other, especially Young Harris overcoming that stingy Lander defense.
But now it seems as if Young Harris is really giving Lander the issues here, being a bit stingy. And we're going to see a foot out of bounds. That going way of Corey Santoro. Clarion University of Pennsylvania transfer. We mentioned a lot of the new faces on that Bearcat team, and she is one of them. Gardner. Now the dish towards the interior. Looking for Oba. Oba, 5'11" senior, currently second tallest on the court, right behind Burgos, 6'2". Had a chance. You just really gotta find your hands on the ball, and granted, the mismatch in personnel was there. It was more of a 1v2 situation. You just gotta also look for the open looks up top. If you see the mismatch, don't feed it to the inside. Find your sharpshooters outside. That's where Young Harris is thriving at right now.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen a couple talented shooters from both of these teams already dropping a couple threes, particularly Frederick from Young Harris, already with 9 points, coming off a 20-plus point game yesterday.
Frederick looking for Oba again. This time she shoots baseline. Deep outside for Gardner, and Gardner just can't come down with it. Remains 19-17. Johnson Kelly, out of Franklinville, New Jersey, decides to cut the alley. This one rimming off. Bates on the attack. She's really been the leader of this offense so far for Young Harris.
Yeah, definitely great at moving the ball, getting it to her teammates who are open, orchestrating the offense.
Gardner to the fake. The look towards Corley. Corley, fade away, won't come down with it. Now they look for Gordon. Gordon shooting toward the midline. Had a wide open Santoro towards the far side. You wonder in that situation, do you pass it out or you go ahead and take it up, try and draw a foul? Big rebound by Corley.
Nice one-handed grab there as the foul will be called on Langley for Lander.
Amani Melendez. This is all more checking in, taking out Gordon. Bates looking for an outlet. She finds Frederick. Frederick, nothing but air in that situation, but a second chance. The toss out for Bates. What a pass. They kick it out to Gardner. Gardner shooting the alley. The lay can't be completed.
Man, unfortunate to see that one go away. What a great save by Corley. Good passing, but yeah, just unable to convert again.
Just an overall wonderful sequence.
It's not too often you see those last-ditch save passes work out like that.
Yeah, and then the assist out wide towards Bates. You just got to be able to come down with those simple layups. Deep shot. Burgos bringing back life to this Lander possession. Johnson Kelly, cross court. Looking towards the freshman on the interior. Ball finding its way towards Johnson Kelly. And they've retaken the lead.
Yeah, been a while, but good job by Johnson Kelly. Keeping up that rhythm. 8 points and 5 rebounds in the first half already.
Bates shimmying right outside the three-point line. Toss this one away. Langley, just a sophomore. So far, it's awesome to just see that skill develop from such a young player. Going to be a real bright spot here in the future for Lander. Now she's got 2 more years in the belt after a quick go-away too.
Absolutely, and she was very effective last year as well, one of the team's leading scorers. So yeah, very, very high promise for Quadeja Langley.
Frederick won't find her mark. Bell. Langley. Just giving this one away.
Corley, standing at 5'9", has deceptive reach and really good ball skills. So good job of her to get that steal.
Offensively, finding nothing, not even the net.
Yeah, I was a bit short on that one. So quickly, possession goes back to Lander, approaching the halfway point of the second quarter.
Lander having pulled away. Langley leading the charge. You already mentioned her 8 points she has so far just in this half. Moving the chess pieces now is Langley. Looking for an open cut. Going to take the cut herself. Here comes Bell. Bell driving in. 3v1 situation blocked away. Here come the Mountain Lions. Griffith weaving her way through traffic. Kick back out. Gardner. And once again, another huge save there for the Bearcats. Yeah. Was going to be their possession anyway, but why not go ahead and take it with a head full of momentum?
I think Tucker was just playing it safe there, making sure that they maintain possession.
Santoro finding its way in the rim, bouncing out nonetheless. A few scoreless possessions now for both sides, Ian.
Yeah, this second quarter's been pretty quiet offensively. Not a ton of scoring, as you said, from both teams. Young Harris actually yet to score a point so far in the second quarter.
They're looking for one now. As Griffith trying to find an option out wide, she finds Frederick. Frederick started off the game strong from 3, struggled near the end, and struggled so far in this second quarter.
That foul going to be on Santoro for Lander.
You're getting a bit handsy there outside the paint, and brings us to a 3-point game, 22-19. A little less than 5 minutes here on the AU Sports Network in the half. (22-19) here, a little less than 5 minutes to go in the half. Lander really picked things up from the beginning. Young Harris, we saw, took the lead early and kept with it there until these last few minutes here in the second. Lander shooting 40+% from field goal range. And no team yet to make a free throw. So we'll be seeing, I'm sure, a few of those near the end of the game, as well as these teams are probably going to get a little bit scrappy.
Yeah, definitely. A close game like that always ends up in fouls and free throws becoming pretty crucial. Lander actually yet to shoot a free throw. They did pretty well yesterday. Young Harris, of course, struggled. So, yeah, so far in the second quarter, been very quiet. Lander scoring 5 points. Young Harris still scoreless in the second. So defense is trying to keep with it. Offense is trying to figure the other out.
And those stats brought to you by AMN, where the blend of caring and science creates optimal results for their patients. And finally, Young Harris has put another on the board here in the second. Johnson Kelly looking towards corner, back to Kelly. Here's Tucker spinning off, finding Johnson Kelly. Kelly driving. Another one rimming out. Bad luck for Lander and the ball, as that's now 2 back-to-back possessions in which the ball just finds its way out of the hoop. It's like, no, thank you, I don't want this.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Of course, for Lander, so the quiet offenses will stay.
Bates once again leading the charge. Counting down from 3.5 minutes now. Bates, Griffith, sinks one.
So just like that, Young Harris does reclaim their lead. Good job by Coach Lindsey Hudson to figure something out during that timeout break. Now Young Harris back up 2.
Griffith, who came in here only shooting 22% from outside the arc. So far, a phenomenal game for her. 5 points to her name just here in the first half. Johnson Kelly weaving between defenders. I believe they'll be bringing her up to the line as well. First free throw attempts by Lander.
So Johnson Kelly very efficient yesterday.
She was 9 for 10 from the free throw line. If you're Young Harris, this is the last person you want walking up to your line. Someone that was shooting 90% yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very reliable from the line. They call them free throws for a reason, so it's good to have players that can make it free.
Yeah, finished her night with 22 points as well. Bates off to a fast start here after the free throws. Corley, shimmy and shake. It's now a 3-point lead for the Mountain Lions. Carter towards the outside, finding Parker. Johnson Kelly to Carter. What a move. Now the kick out. Deep ball off the back iron. Johnson Kelly getting the rebound. A second chance here for the Bearcats. Carter. Charge called as well. Huge, huge play.
Yeah,
there
great
from Young Harris.
Great job there. That would have been a pretty big basket by Abby Carter, but good job to keep it there. So Young Harris maintains their 3-point lead, just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first half.
And these 2 minutes will decide a lot here, Ian. You want to go into halftime up quite a few, I'd say. Just not only for momentum purposes, but also just for pride purposes. And both these teams fighting for it right now.
Yeah, yesterday we saw Lander up 17 at the half. Of course, Emmanuel mounted a great comeback in the fourth quarter, nearly tied it up, but Lander in an unfamiliar situation here, down late in the first half.
Grant, last time these two teams faced off, Lander was down quite a bit going into the half as well, and Young Harris came out flying after halftime as well, scoring 29 there in the third quarter. Will this be a repeat of that? I really think the home court advantage, well, granted, this neutral site is going to make all the difference. I really think that's why both teams aren't having as productive nights as you would see. Is a huge block coming away of Johnson Kelly.
It was a good first quarter offensively, but both offenses have equally sort of stalled out here in the second.
Lander with just 6, Young Harris with 7 in this second. Yeah, you mentioned they're stalling. I don't really know what the lack of offensive production has come from, as Griffith soars one up, finding the crutch. Now Langley. So finding the front of the rim. Edwards. Edwards pull up. Off the back iron, tossed away.
So some quick exchanges there, all resulting in missed baskets. Both teams now shooting less than 40% overall. Young Harris at 37.9, Lander at 39.1. So neither of those really looking too good. So lots of adjustments to be made at halftime. We'll see how the coaches can get their girls going for the second half.
Langley. 25 seconds here for the Bearcats. Santoro checked in. We saw her foul earlier. And intercepted, ball loose, coming up way of the Mountain Lions. And now pressuring. About a 20-second differential in time clock, game clock. Frederick practically gives this one away.
Yeah, she knew she had Griffith open down there near the baseline, but just a bit too much on that pass. Frederick looked like she might have taken it herself, but saw Griffith even more open. Unfortunate to come up there. So Lander now with a chance to bring it even closer right before halftime.
Lander, who finished out their the matchup between these two teams back in February, finished up with 48% shooting from the field. And you mentioned before, already both teams at sort of a stalemate. That's another miss. Gordon getting her own rebound. The put up, can't find the second chance.
So surely Young Harris just going to try to drain the clock out, see what they can do right before the locker rooms.
Bates, no shot clock to work with. Edwards shooting inside. The leg going to find its mark right as the buzzer sounds. 28-23 with Young Harris taking charge. We'll be back here for the second half.
Hundred years of combined experience, which sets us apart from our competitors. Our promise is that we will provide quality, honest support for many years to come. A golf cart is more than just a machine, it's a lifestyle. When someone purchases a golf cart from us, we know that they want this to be a part of their lives. When a customer leaves our store with their new cart, they'll begin to make new memories, and we want to be with them every step of the way.
Garrett's Golf Carts is a family business. It's family and community focused. When a family or customer walks through the front of our doors, we want them to see more than a showroom. We don't want this place to come across as a car dealership. We want it to come across as a place where they can find exactly what they're looking for the application that they're looking for.
When you purchase a golf cart from Garrett's, the relationship does not end with the sale. In fact, it's just the beginning. Our team has decades of experience, if not over 100 years of combined experience, which sets us apart from our competitors. Our promise is that we will provide quality, honest support for many years to come. A golf cart is more than just a machine, it's a lifestyle. When someone purchases a golf cart from us, we know that they want this to be a part of their lives. When a customer leaves our store with their new cart, they'll begin to make new memories, and we want to be with them every step of the way.
back here for day 2, second half of the opening of the AU Classic hosted here at Anderson University. Lander versus Young Harris. Let's take a look at the stats presented to you by AnMed Health. Young Harris leading by 5. Both teams shooting relatively poorly today. Lander, the only team yet to make a free throw as well. Let's take a look at that turnover ratio. Ian, total of 18 turnovers between the two teams, practically giving these opportunities away, and a lot of it has come off those second chance points. So get the rebound, try to kick it out, intercepted right then and there. They're playing too fast, too early, in all honesty. I mean, they started off that second quarter way too fast. And I think that was really Lander's demise there. They started off really quick, really hot, and then slowly just turnovers started to affect them. Getting out-rebounded as well, granted just by 2 rebounds there in the total of the game. But so far, both teams just need to clean out the kinks. I feel like they've done that so far. I feel like both head coach Lindsey Hudson in her 5th year and Stephanie Gulhausen in her 2nd season for Lander, really just trying to work out the kinks, and I think they've done it here, and we'll see if that is true. My name is Colin Calvert, with me Ian Mazzola here on the AU Sports Network. Glad to be here hosting the AU Classic. And quick go-ahead lay, that time coming from Johnson Kelly. You know, we mentioned her and how well of a night she's having, and in all honesty, how well of a weekend she's had so far as well, Ian.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good start there, although just gifted another possession is Lander from Young Harris. You're mentioning the turnovers. Both teams just got really sloppy there in the second quarter. As you mentioned, playing too fast, that's what leads to the missed shots and the turnovers. Neither team scoring double digits in that second period.
Langley looking towards Johnson Kelly. She's got 11 points on the night. The toss to the far side. Langley shooting baseline. Burgos. Johnson Kelly dishing this one out for 3. That's 5 points in 2 possessions here.
Yeah, great job by Johnson Kelly. Definitely, if anyone was going to cause a spark, it was going to be her, and now it is tied up very quickly here into the second half.
The kick out towards Gardner. They look inside towards Corley. Corley driving, the turnaround, and retaking the lead have the Mountain Lions. I mentioned this is almost a battle between the states in Young Harris, coming all the way from Young Harris, Georgia. And, of course, you can't forget about Lander there in Greenwood. Lander really the only thing in Greenwood that's really worthy of talking about.
Yeah,
Greenwood, about I'd say what, a 2.5 hour drive?
A little less than that. I'd say about an hour and a half from where we are right now. But yeah, quiet little town. It's a pretty town. But yeah, as you mentioned, we got 2 teams from South Carolina, 2 teams from Georgia here at the AU Classic. And yesterday, both teams from South Carolina prevailed.
So truly, who's the better state? We're not trying to offend you Georgians, I guess you call them,
yes,
right?
Georgians.
But apparently the South Carolinians might be just better at basketball.
So we're seeing here, nice. It's a tight game. And I expect Emmanuel to come out firing against Anderson University later on today, as they were stifled yesterday.
Yeah, they've got some heat roaring in the blood right now. No one wants to really go into their next game off a loss, and so I really think, like you said, they're going to come out firing on all cylinders and hopefully make for a really good game against the so far undefeated Anderson. Langley driving in the paint, turning, shifting. Tucker unable to find it. Corley wide open in the paint. Gets her a go-ahead too.
So Corley having a really nice night, or excuse me, afternoon. 10 rebounds already, 6 points to accompany that. Staying out of foul trouble as well. Excuse me, 8 points, nearing double-double territory.
Move towards Langley on the outer edge. Santoro. Out wide. Johnson Kelly. The hook shot won't prevail. As the shot clock expires, here comes Gardner and the Mountain Lions. Gardner spinning it off from mid-range. Corley looking to make it 10 points on the night. She does.
Yeah, Corley been the best performer for Young Harris so far tonight. been really effective. She got in foul trouble early yesterday and has managed to stay clean. Only 1 foul so far on this game. Young Harris back up 4.
In just the first few minutes of this half in this quarter, both teams have, Lander especially, has already surpassed their second quarter score margin. Young Harris only scoring 9, Lander scoring 6 there in that second.
So where Lander came out, a couple quick baskets by Johnson Kelly to get them to tie it up. Young Harris has definitely responded to reclaim a 6-point lead.
Man, a 6-point game here in the Abney Athletic Center. What the world? You're on the EU Sports Network. My name is Colin Calvert. Ian Mazzola with me. Pretty tight game so far, Ian.
Yeah, it's been tight for the majority of the game. Lander came back really quickly and tied it up at the start, but 6 straight points for Young Harris have reclaimed their solid lead. And Lander now with possession looking to cut back into it.
Both teams with 13 attempts from outside the arc. Lander being the more successful from there. 5 of those made. As this time, look for the kick out. Here's Bell. Deep 3, not going to find it. Edwards driving, finding Gardner. Gardner shifting towards the inside, quick jumper. Melendez finding Bell, close call. Johnson Kelly driving, she's quick on her feet. Going to find the top of the backboard, nothing more. Corley, Frederick, turnaround, got it.
Yeah, had to fight hard for that one, but good job by Frederick to get over top. So now 8-point lead for the Mountain Lions.
Young Harris starting to play like their usual self against Lander, especially in these past 2 matchups.
Yeah, had an impressive offensive performance against Anderson yesterday, and they're definitely doing a good job of keeping that up.
Fighting for it towards the interior. Who's going to dig it out? Jump ball called. And timeout called. I believe it's going to be Young Harris ball as well. Ian will be back to see them in possession. And Young Harris jumping to an 8-point lead now, with that field goal percentage shooting up since the opening of the half. A little less than 5 minutes to go here.
Yeah, it's been a great job. They started off kind of slow, but put up 10 already in the 3rd quarter, doing a really good job. Still struggling a bit from the 3-point line. They're 4 of 13 at the moment, 30.8%. But we've seen that they like to really spread the ball around, get it underneath, and get the quick, easy baskets.
Yeah, 2 double-digit scores as well for Young Harris, and Crystal Corley, who's having herself a nice night. Jamari Frederick as well. So number 1 and number 2 sitting there, number 1 and 2 spot scoring-wise. Wykira Johnson-Kelly really carrying Lander on her back right now with those 14 points. 7 rebounds as well. She's approaching a double-double. And Krista Corley in that double range as well with her 11 rebounds. I mean, that's just phenomenal playing from both sides, giving her team plenty of second chance opportunities to find a bucket. Now Frederick and the Mountain Lions intercepted here by Bell. Bell in a little bit of a tussle. Looks like Gardner got a bit handsy on the way down. Yeah. Push foul on Bell, or on Gardner. Bell receiving the foul. And great job. I mean, that's really just putting your body on the line for a purpose. And that purpose this time being a Lander possession. They need something to happen here. Here's Gordon. Gordon. Turnaround. Whew, what a move by Gordon as well.
That was pretty. Gave herself some space and nice little swish to get those 2 points. First for Lander in a while.
Gardner towards Edwards in the middle. Looking for an outlet. Denied by the freshman. The kick out wide. Up top, Griffith. Gardner from downtown finds her mark. That's it.
Yeah, so Young Harris keeping up that offensive intensity right after the timeout. Lander's defense, who fared really well yesterday, just struggling to keep them at bay.
And Langley struggling from out wide so far in this half. They look towards Edwards. Edwards shooting baseline, the put up. Kissing the glass as she goes.
Just like that, Young Harris up double digits. 11 points now, the margin. Been a great quarter for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, largest lead so far of the game as well, Ian. Langley towards Gordon. Gordon driving. Bell, Langley again as she attempts another. This time finds it true. Cashes that one in.
Yeah, that was big for Lander after they had a drought going. But they got to figure out a way to tighten up their defense, even more importantly.
Gardner left with open space, finds the back iron. Now Edwards. You know, phenomenal effort there by Oba. As she works inside, fouled from behind. And a big area of substitution here for Lander.
Bringing back in several of the starters. As I mentioned earlier, you know, as their shooting is all right, they really got to wind up their defense as Young Harris has gotten a lead and is able to maintain it.
Oba sinking 2. It remains a double-digit lead. Johnson-Kelly just needing to get a spark, needing to light that flame here for the Bearcats. As they look up top, Melendez outside, Santoro. The shooting guard really putting Lander in a necessary position. It's not out of reach, Ian.
Yeah, definitely. Lander, you know, their three-point shooting has probably been the best part of their game. They've got 7 out of their 18. So 21 of their 38 points have come from the three-point line.
What ball movement here from the Mountain Lions. Oba spinning off. Won't find the bucket. Santoro on the move. Melendez. Santoro once more. Melendez, quick trigger. Got it.
Yeah.
Cash money here.
We saw her catch fire early in the game yesterday, so it's good to see her proving that she's still an effective shooter. Now Lander, just like that, cuts it down to a 4-point deficit.
And the thing is, basketball's a game of runs. You could be down by a certain amount of points, and a nice little run will put you right within firing range. Speaking of firing range, Griffith won't come down with this one. 45-41 here. Santoro, can't she make it just a 1-point game or 2? Foul receive, she'll be shooting.
Just notice we haven't seen a ton of fouls from either team this game. Neither team has made it into the bonus yet. So that's been pretty crucial in the games yesterday.
They bring in Bates, really the floor general right now for Young Harris. Had been a majority of the game, didn't see her much at the beginning of this third as we're winding down, counting down from the 2-minute mark here.
It's just the second time that Lander has been to the line today. Santoro makes her first.
And can't quite complete the second. Bates, fantastic ball handler. And we've seen a lack of turnovers here as well in the third. We mentioned that was the main thing they need to clean up on both sides of the ball, and that they have. Corley, Oba, huge rebound. Deep three. Ball loose, and looks like Bates might have grabbed her foot near the end. That last-ditch effort brings up a foul. Bates with her second foul now.
Yeah, it looked like Johnson Kelly was going to come up with that rebound no matter what. So Bates, as you mentioned, picked up her second foul. Still got plenty of room to work with. Just about 1 quarter left to play here.
Frederick, a bit touchy. Leaves this one on the ground.
So now that's their 4th team foul. So I know there's not much time left, but the next foul will send Lander to the line.
From out wide. Looking towards the interior. Tucker now the kick out. Towards Carter. Carter. Passing this one off to Jesus Christ himself.
That one looked like it may have been deflected off Young Harris, but the ball will go to the Mountain Lions.
Bates just trying to turn down time, about a 9-second clock differential. Corley, strong drive, knocked away. Ball going away, Young Harris. 22 seconds remain, 2-second differential.
Yeah, I would expect Young Harris to, after the inbound, just try to get some space and run the clock down. They're holding on to a 3-point lead. They don't want to let Lander get too much momentum going into the final period of this game.
I really think both teams are going to get scrappy here in the next few minutes. Lander especially. Fight towards the middle. There's that scrappiness, going to draw a foul. Last game, Lander in the last 2 quarters found themselves up the line 12 times. Young Harris, on the other hand, so far, been shooting pretty well tonight from the free throw line. About 50% in another make to bring that percentage up. A lot on the line here with 10 seconds going into the third. Up by 5 now. Lander, remember, it's a game of runs. They were able to come back very swiftly. They're near the end of this quarter. If they bring that same momentum they brought into the third, and what a pass outside to Parker. Parker drains a 3. Or Abby, that was Abby Carter. My apologies, right at the buzzer. 47-45, 2-point game, and Lander on the comeback. We'll be back. on the AU Sports Network.
Garrett's Golf Carts is a family business. It's family and community focused. When a family or customer walks through the front of our doors, we want them to see more than a showroom. We don't want this place to come across as a car dealership. We want it to come across as a place where they can find exactly what they're looking for the application that they're looking for.
When you purchase a golf cart from Garrett's, the relationship does not end with the sale. In fact, it's just the beginning. Our team has decades of experience, if not over 100 years of combined experience, which sets us apart from our competitors. Our promise is that we will provide quality, honest support for many years to come. A golf cart is more than just a machine, it's a lifestyle. When someone purchases a golf cart from us, we know that they want this to be a part of their lives. When a customer leaves our store with their new cart, they'll begin to make new memories, and we want to be with them every step of the way.
(47-45) as we are in the final stretch of things here on the opening matchup of Day 2 of the AU Classic, hosted by Anderson University. You know, Ian, funny enough, these two teams used to play each other a lot, as Young Harris was in the Peach Belt Conference, found their home in the Conference Carolinas this year. You know, since their first meeting in 2015, these two teams have battled a ton. With Lander being the victor majority of the time, Young Harris has really stepped up not only their roster but just their skills as well, winning the last two. Can they make it three as we have a tie game here in Abney?
Yeah, Young Harris has looked to be in control for the majority of this game, but as Lander went on a pretty big run there, and a team turnover will give Lander the opportunity to take their first lead in a while.
And Frederick found probably the last person you want to be passing the ball to, which is Lindsey Hudson, the head coach. And as she shakes her head, claps this one off. Johnson Kelly finding Carter. Santoro now. Melendez. Johnson Kelly directing traffic, dives through the traffic, the quick put up, that one rimming out. Crucial possessions coming right out of the third. Both these teams just need to put some points in the bucket to get that momentum flowing.
Yeah, I don't expect either team to go on a huge run and build an insurmountable lead. I think this is probably going to be close to the end.
Both teams have proven it, especially there in the third. We saw that second have a really lax offensive streak, with both teams not even scoring the double digits. But now that third quarter really has changed our mindset and everything. These two teams can pick it up when they want to. It's going to be about who wants it more. And Santoro not going to find her aim. Still tie ball game. That's 4 back-to-back possessions. Scoreless. Frederick looks to change that. She does.
That was a neat little layup underneath. Found just a little bit of space and took full advantage of it. So Young Harris still proving their offense is working well, maintaining a very slight lead.
And of course, glad you're tuning in here with us on Flow Sports Live. As another whistle's blown. This would be Griffith getting in a bit of a tussle there near the paint. Trying to talk this one out. Push foul. Bates checks out for Young Harris. Here comes Gardner. Corley going to have to be on her game there in the paint. Her and Edwards both. But I like this zone defense that Young Harris is playing. Not really allowing much entry in the paint, and it's working out in their favor so far. Lander still scoreless in the fourth. Corley with a foot, barely out of bounds.
You knew there was going to be a tussle right there at the sideline, so rightly so, the ref just had his eyes on the line and was able to make the good call. So this one heating up here. Less than 8 minutes to go in the game. Still been really close.
Heating up indeed, and I really think we're going to see a lot of attempts from the free throw line as the minutes wind down. We mentioned Lander saw themselves. They were 6 times just last game against Emmanuel. And you see they're driving more in the paint as well. They're not really looking for options out wide. Bell looking to drive. Bell turning a corner. Looked to be a hook around for Bell.
Definitely going to have to keep an eye on fouls as well. As you mentioned, the free throw is likely to become important. Remember, this is a relatively new rule. At 5 fouls in women's basketball, it is automatic 2 shots now. So that could prove pretty crucial as the minutes wind down. 1 foul for each team at the moment.
Corley getting shifty in the middle. They check in Gordon. Gonna need her athletic ability down low. Been lethal from mid-range so far this game. Gardner looking for an open woman. She finds Edwards. Edwards in the bright pink shoes. Hard to miss her. But instead misses that shot. And here come the Bearcats. Langley losing control, regains it. Finds Gordon up top. Second travel for Gordon this game. Small errors like that, especially as we're winding down, can be crucial.
Yeah, little unforced ones. Those are just ones that'll kill a team in a close game like this. Especially you're down 2, you think you can tie it up right there, but just gives it right back to Young Harris, who's playing really well, you got to say. It's dangerous to give them the ball too much.
You know, Ian, I think you hit it dead on at the fact that both these teams are really going to keep it close all the way to the very end. And Frederick, who scored the first point of this quarter, stolen away. Back in the hands of Edwards. Edwards tripped up by Gordon. And going to be Young Harris ball as they're still in Lander territory. So don't have to cover much court space. And I know the PA announcer got that wrong there. Called the foul on Lily Griffith, but I believe they meant that one to be on Gordon. And Griffith being the one that's going to be throwing this one in, that's going to be doing the inbounding. She'll be not receiving the foul in that case. Here's Gardner. Gardner pressured out wide by Langley. Able to evade it. The toss-up. Finding nothing but cool, crisp air here in the very well air-conditioned Amity Athletic Center. It's an awfully hot fall day here, about 72 degrees. I know what you Southerners are saying. That's not hot. That's cool to me.
Well, for the middle of November, that's pretty warm.
God. I say, if you can't wear jeans and a sweater in November, then it's too hot. Speaking of getting hot, Young Harris trying to get hot. Lander yet to find that spark really offensively here in this fourth. Going to step out of bounds. Will it be off the shoulder of Oba? And hey, works out in Young Harris's favor. A little push, a little shove. Never hurt anybody if it's not catchable by the refs.
Yeah, not too
it's like
much.
Guilty until charged, you know?
Yeah. You know, this quarter's shaping up to be like the second. You know, the first and third, both offenses are looking pretty good. So far, each team has only scored 2 points in this fourth quarter.
And it's been a little less than 5 minutes as well. Hey, consistency is key. Young Harris scored 19 in both the first and the third. Edwards from three-point land. They look towards Griffith. Griffith, deep look. Now they look towards Oba in the middle. Edwards keeping this play alive, and a big collision.
There'll be a foul on Oba.
Looks like that's Johnson Kelly. Or actually, that's Bell taking her time to get up. Seems that they're bringing out the trainer as well. She's taking her time to get up. We'll take a quick injury timeout here. We'll be back momentarily. 49-47, Young Harris leads the way. Counting down from that 5.5-minute mark now is Bell walking on her own power. Looked to possibly be a head injury. She was a bit shaken up. Took some time to find her way over to the Lander bench. That's a big ball distributor that you really don't want out of the game, as she's been playing so far pretty well. Two rebounds, assists as well.
Yep, assistant coach Maurice Sumter just giving one last word to the young Harris girls. Getting back out there. Lander with the ball. Still looking to tie it up or reclaim the lead. But as I said, both offenses have been pretty quiet in this fourth quarter.
Out wide for Langley. Langley looking for three, won't find it. Yeah, of course, make sure you tune in at 2 o'clock as Anderson University faces Emmanuel University now. Was college last year, and now they made that transition to university. Congratulations to them. Edwards now looking for two. The dish out, Langley on a fast break. Finding her way down court. Nice little fake move, and falls on her face.
Yeah, that was a bit awkward there. Unable to come up with it, but the foul will be called on Griffith.
Looked as if it might have been a tripping foul. And leads us right into a timeout. Still a 2-point game. Both teams with 2 points so far. We'll be back. And back here for a 2-point game, and whether that mean the score differential or the amount of points scored by both teams, both with 2 a pop. And field goal percentage, relatively even as well. So stats brought to you by Ann Med Health, 49-47. With Langley up to shoot 2, looking to tie this ball game up. No pressure indeed. We saw that yelled from the young Harris bench. And Langley, who, in all honesty, has not been her greatest game today.
2 for 2.
Langley with only 7 points to her name. Johnson Kelly yet to score so far in this quarter. Here's Edwards. Now Corley battling it out in the paint. Johnson Kelly from 3-point land. A little bit in between. Looking for the cut. Attempting to find Carter.
That would have been a really nice little pass to Carter, who had space underneath, but just led her a bit too much.
Here's Bates working with the space outside the arc. Gardner, Edwards. The kick out, Bates. Bates, nice little fake. Gardner, here's Frederick. Frederick diving in towards the interior and finds herself with another 2. So now young Harris reclaimed the 2-point lead. That's now 4 points scored by both teams so far in this quarter.
They're really alternating offenses through the quarters. There's another errant pass by Lander. this time coming from Carter. So the team turnovers, you know, the unforced errors have really been the story. Seen a couple traveling calls, a couple bad passes, and that's really what's helped Young Harris maintain the slight lead that they've got.
.29 total turnovers from both teams today as Corley finds the back iron. Yeah, turnover game definitely not in both of these teams' favor. Some nice little Euro step. Brings them out 2. And a tie ball game. Yeah. Once again, like I said, this is going to be tight. Trading punches back and forth. And as we approach that 2-minute mark, both teams want to get going offensively. Finally, some back-to-back scoring possessions as well. We didn't see that for the first 7 minutes of the half, or of the fourth quarter. Ooh, denied. Huge block away. Wykira Johnson-Kelly, the 5'6" grad student, getting up in the air as we have a timeout on the floor. 51s.
At Anderson.
Right into Frederick, bossing over her defender, finding 2 from the free throw line. From point blank range, she is phenomenal today. Anything within inside the arc, she has been just absolutely crushing it. And now, some shifty moves and a quick pull-up. Boom! Bada boom, bada bing, Ian.
Johnson-Kelly made that one look pretty easy, gave herself a bit of space. So now, as you said, back and forth we go. The offenses have really come alive now with 2 minutes remaining in the game.
Edwards finding Bates. Bates has a bit of open space. Johnson-Kelly on her decides to take a move. The kick out towards Edwards. Now Frederick looking for 3. The rebound by Langley. Langley. Nothing but speed under her belt. Here's Edwards on the defensive rebound.
Yeah, Langley could have used with a bit less speed there. Maybe not try to take it herself. It was 3-on-1.
Frederick, my apologies, Ian, but Frederick with the punt fake and jump ball called. Looks like it's going to be going Young Harris way.
So still a tie game. Again, Langley just doing a bit too much too fast there. The jump ball will result in a Young Harris possession. Still, foul's not really a concern for either team in terms of free throws.
Corley eyeing the rim. Found and 2. Point lead now for Young Harris. Johnson-Kelly. Langley, the fake. The 2. Tied up with less than a minute now. It's really going to be all up to this possession here.
Just really at the last second, we've seen an offensive explosion, tie game. Can't ask for a much better finish than this.
Both teams with 8 points. In the fourth, Corley spinning off. Can't find her mark. Approaching that 32nd point. This is huge for Lander.
Big miss from Corley, who's been so reliable today. 16 points and 14 rebounds. And now Lander with the big advantage. Probably going to have the second to last possession of this game.
About a 9-second differential clock, or game clock, shot clock. Here's Gordon now. 7 seconds to go here. Gordon, quick pull up, finds a 2-point lead and a timeout with a little more than 10 on the game clock. 57-55, Lander could come away with this. 11.6 seconds is all we have left to change the trajectory of this series. As we all know, Young Harris right now 2-0 in the series in the past 2 games, of course. Lander with the 2-point lead, looking to change things. Here's Gardner for Young Harris, looking for an outlet. Edwards trying to approach on an island, the deep ball. Foul called. And Corey Santoro get a bit too grabby.
Yeah, although I think that is a smart idea because you've got a couple of fouls to give, and so each foul you commit, as long as it's not a shooting foul, that'll take a second or 2 off the clock. So just making it a bit tougher on Young Harris. 9.6 now remains.
Finding Edwards once more. Edwards on an island. There's another foul. Coming away of Santoro once more. Or third foul.
Yeah, and so now Lander with no more fouls to give. Next one will send Young Harris to the line. So this is going to be a play right here. 7.5 seconds to go.
It looks like they're going to go right back to Edwards. Now, got to give him a bit of space. Edwards, the drive, the put up, foul called, and they're going to be brought to the line here.
So 2.8 seconds to go, and as you said, brought to the line. Edwards took a bit of a tough fall there, slow to get up. So all on her now to try to tie this one up.
You know, I love seeing Edwards at the line. She's made 12 out of 17 so far this season. She's shooting 70%. This is huge if you're Young Harris. This is to tie up the game with 2 seconds remaining. Can't find her mark, finds the back iron. It might have just sealed the deal for Lander, Ian.
Absolutely. You know, that was really unlucky. Had a good line, but, yeah, as you mentioned, just found the back iron.
It was 50%. And timeout called by Lander and Coach Stephanie Galhausen. Wow, 1 point game, Ian, with 2 seconds left. We'll see who comes out on top. .8 seconds is all it takes to decide a 1 point game here. 56-57 with Lander being the unlikely leader here. Not who we thought was going to be in this position, being that at one point they were down by double digits, Ian.
Yeah, definitely. Now we see a sort of a flip situation. Lander with the ball, called the full timeout to advance the ball to their side of the court. So we might see some fouling from Young Harris. See how this plays out.
That we will. A little more than 2 seconds You're on the game clock.
Got a feel for the game clock operator, as every 10th matters a lot when in a one-point game like this. So that's Young Harris's third foul, so they have one more to give for free. 2.1 seconds left.
Gordon on the inbound, looking to find anything, finds Langley. 1.3 seconds remain. These next two inbounds could really mean the world and seal the deal for the Bearcats. The fight of the Cats, decided by 1 point.
Yeah, what a game. It's been close the whole time. Young Harris holding a slight lead for the majority of the game, but Lander did a great job coming back here in the fourth. And that is Coach Lindsey Hudson talking it over with the ref a little bit. I wonder what the discussion is about. Maybe it's clock related, not sure exactly. But Lander team talking it over. As he said, this inbound very critical. 1.3 seconds left. Not a ton of time, even if Young Harris does come up with it, but still, anything can happen.
We've seen crazier things happen here in Amity, Ian. And so, really, to start off day two has been a phenomenal game. Hard to not be excited about a 1 point game, Ian, as Emmanuel University taking on Anderson University here at 2 o'clock. So around 35-ish minutes away from opening tip there. And I'm really expecting that one to be a really hard-fought battle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Emmanuel coming off of a tough loss against Lander yesterday. Going to want to make amends for that. I'm going to see if Anderson can keep up their undefeated streak.
Yeah, a lot on the line for both teams. Really, if you're Anderson, want to keep your home turf protected. And if you're Emmanuel, you want to come in and you just want to regain that pride that you lost in the loss yesterday against Lander. And now with 1.3 seconds at a timeout, we'll be back here momentarily after these quick stats presented to you by AnMed. I mean, it's crazy just how 1 point can make the difference. Young Harris, who just out-rebounded the mess out of Lander. But really, I mean, it was just in that 3-point differential in the free throws. I mean, one made free throw could have tied this thing up and brought us to overtime.
Yeah.
But you're coming from an unexpected Edwards as well, who was shooting very well from the free throw line. Just unfortunate turn of circumstances. And when all the pressure's on you, it can almost become a crutch. You almost just feel it weighing down on you, and it doesn't allow you to make crucial shots such as that.
Wykira, Johnson, Kelly at the line for Lander, and there's no one else they'd rather want. Trying to extend the 1 point lead for some safety.
And won't make that one. Johnson Kelly finds it that time. And with 1.3 seconds remain, we go right to a timeout break. Whew, 2 point lead by Lander. Buckle your seatbelts. These last few seconds will be bumpy ones. And what can be 1.3 seconds can really last an eternity, Ian. And it's felt like we've been here for about 5 minutes in between that 1 to 2 second time period. And now, with a last-ditch effort, here come the Mountain Lions. The deep ball coming up short. And Lander ends the 2-game win streak for Young Harris as they claim their first victory against them under head coach Stephanie Gelhausen in her second season. What a phenomenal game. I mean, any game that's that close within a 2-point differential, you're going to absolutely enjoy, especially that fourth quarter. Second quarter a bit stagnant. Third quarter started to pick things up. Fourth quarter really sealed the deal with some last-minute scoring. And Lander just outpaced them in that third and fourth quarter by what looked to be around 7 points. And so that can make all the difference. Young Harris battled it. I mean, it was a battle of the boards as well. Constant offensive rebounds from both sides, giving both teams second chance points. And hey, Lander coming out the victor. 58-56 here on the AU Sports Network as we go to Anderson taking on Emmanuel University. We'll be back here as they play host here in the AU Classic.